Hi guys, I want to talk to you about lunches, and these are just ideas. Some things that I liked and my kids liked might give you some inspiration. Take what you think is best for your family. So, my idea of lunches are going to be things that I know my kids will eat, and I will try to limit some of the less healthy or wholesome foods and try to add in more of the wholesome foods without eliminating things completely, because be realistic, if you put in things your kid doesn't like and that's their only choices, they will not eat it or will eat the few things and throw away the rest. 4 ideas for drinks. We have water and milk are going to be the biggest ones that you want to do. Keep that in mind. A lot of schools will have it where you can buy milk, just send your kid with some milk money. You can find these individual size in different stores. I got this from Costco. When I do add other drinks to my kids' drinks, I try to add juices, that way it gives them a little bit of vitamins, but really, drinking stuff is pretty much straight calories, so keep that in mind. Just give it to them rarely, kind of as a treat in there. And then I like to buy these smaller cans of Sprite. That way, again, it gives them less calories, and treat it like a treat for sure. And then, my kids never like this, but if you can do sparkling water, it's a really good choice too. Just know what your kid likes, introduce things at home and see what they like. Keep introducing things, and that will give them more of a broad basis, and you know what they will actually eat in their lunch. So you want to stock up on stuff for sandwiches, wraps, quesadilla, the main part of their meal. That way you have what you need as the week goes to come up with different things. So these are the additions to the lunch, like your snack or side dish. These are going to have more nutrients or wholesomeness. You can try to get some fruit, some vegetables. I buy a lot of things in these portion size, just because I think it's easy to just grab and go, but then also it stays fresher longer compared to opening something and putting it in, but also it helps you to have a portion control and you don't give them a giant bag of something. But there's not anything wrong with getting a big bag and just portioning it out each time in some baggies. I would give my kids a little treat or a snack just so they enjoy the meal or at school and having a good time. It wasn't always, but most of them would have a little tiny sweet thing in it. And you can buy varying sizes. If you make a lot of the stuff at home, not that it's good, but it's going to have less preservatives that you buy from the store. So making some at home is a good idea. Had given them a soda or a juice, I might skip one of these or give them something very small. Buy like a miniature bite-sized Kit Kat. I might do something like that. You want your kid to enjoy their meal and not missing out on the treats that the other kids do have. And then these are some items that you'll need to prepare your lunches. So baggies in varying size. If you can only get one, I would just get the sandwich baggie or plastic wrap up your sandwiches in that, and then anything smaller put in the snack bag. Make sure you have plastic utensils, some napkins, hand sanitizer, and then some kind of lunchbox to put it in the end. Those are about everything that you'll need to make these lunches. Okay. For this lunch idea, we're going to do a quesadilla. This one's a chicken quesadilla. This would be enough for 2 kids. It really depends on how much your kids eat. So put a tortilla down, and then we're going to add some cheese. And I'm just cooking it on this griddle just to make it easier to watch. But really, I would do it in a fry pan normally. So now we're going to add the chicken. And if I was just making one for my kids, I would have folded it in half and just done 1/2 and then folded it over. And this is just leftover rotisserie chicken. Comes in really handy. When you're done with your rotisserie chicken, chop it up, that way it's ready. Now, I'm gonna add just some salsa. This is not spicy. Put whatever you think your kids will eat. If your kids do not eat spicy, don't add spicy salsa. This adds kind of a smoky flavor and a creaminess. It's Taco Bell creamy chipotle sauce. But it is a little spicy, so double check that your kids like it before you add this. You can add a little bit more cheese. And I do this just so it will stick to the tortilla I'm going to put on top of it. And then in the pan, you want to cover it. It helps it to heat thoroughly before the bottom gets too well done. Check and see, it's getting a little bit firm and a little bit brown. I like it to have a little bit of firmness so that when I flip it, it holds together better. Okay, this side takes a lot less time than the first side, so don't walk away and leave it thinking that you have the same amount of time. Okay, you want to wait a little bit before you cut this, because really you'll just squish all of the ingredients out. If you feel that your ingredients were mostly in the middle, you can kind of smash it down to help push it towards the side. But we want it to cool down. Also, if we put it in a baggie, it will become a real kind of sweaty mess in there if it is warm. So you either want to make this the night before or slip it into the fridge or freezer to kind of speed up the process. So once your quesadilla has cooled, go ahead and cut it. You can use a knife or a pizza cutter. And I actually just choose the size of the slice depending on what Ziploc I'm going to use. And I think if I do half, I like to fold the Ziploc down, that way it doesn't get on the outside of it as I'm putting it in. You want to make sure these are cooled. You could really make them the night before, let them cool, and then just have them in the fridge. And they're going to be kind of room temperature. My kids loved them, so just really depends. Ask your kids all the time, hey, did you like that? Or what was your favorite meal? Or my kids would come home and tell me just because they knew I was going to ask a lot of the time. So we have this. And with this, we're going to have some Triscuits and some applesauce, and then Dunkaroos. Don't forget your napkin. And water with it. Now, we're going to make a peanut butter, honey, and banana sandwich. And you could always substitute something like almond butter or sunflower butter. Sunflower butter is a little bit sweet, so it might end up being too sweet with the honey and the banana as a counter to the peanut butter. That's going to add a little bit of a saltiness or a non-sweet element to it. I'm going to spread 1/2 of the bread with peanut butter. Something that's important, when you put it down, I try to have it mirror itself, so the straight edge is here, this one has kind of a ripple. That way it goes together really nice. If you don't, it's not a big deal, but some are quite misshapen, so it can get wonky. And then you're just gonna lay down the banana. Then we're going to add some honey. If you add too much, it will start to drizzle out of the sandwich. So then we're going to close that up. It's up to you. You can cut it if you'd like or leave it together. And just slip it into your sandwich bag. Try to get some of the air out of this as I'm closing it. So with this, we are We're going to have milk, chips, carrots, sour punch, and this is just the hand sanitizer and napkin. Okay, now we are going to make cheese and crackers. This was my daughter's favorite. She had lots of favorites, but she really enjoyed cheese and crackers. So any kind of cheese, just whatever they enjoy. This is cheddar. And I just cut things into cracker-sized bites. And then we're going to use this little container to hold the cheese in this one, and then the crackers in a different one. This is some mozzarella. And this is smoked turkey. I like smoked meats on cheese and crackers. I just really enjoy that flavor. So I'm just gonna cut some to kind of match the size of the cheddar cheese. And you can make it all the same cheese, really. It's all good. I'm gonna put the lid on that. And then for the crackers, I just have some Ritz crackers and some Triscuits. I like both of those for cheese and crackers. Then along with it, we're going to have some cherry tomatoes, some blueberries, little box of Nerds, and some water. So we're gonna make a wrap, and for this one, you wanna heat up a tortilla just a little bit, maybe 10-15 seconds. We're gonna put some hummus on here. And this will add flavor. Okay, and then I'm gonna put just a little bit right here to help close it up when it's time. I'm gonna put some Swiss cheese. And this is just some roasted turkey. Just kind of spread it out evenly. And I do have a problem where I make things way too thick, so that could happen to us. We'll see how it goes. Put in some cucumber, some tomato. And this is a good way to get some vegetables in there. And we're going to put just a little bit of lettuce for some crunch. Okay, be careful not to make it too big, and honestly this could all be too big already. And you want to do a little bit of salt and pepper just to enhance the flavors we have there. Okay, now just kind of want to roll it, get it nice and tight, and heating it up in the beginning will help it to kind of fold without cracking. And so you just kind of want to press down, and you could just leave it like this for several minutes. That way it just kind of freezes in place. If you're not using hummus, I really recommend leaving it there for just a little bit. That way it keeps its shape. Okay, and then we are going to cut it in half. So there it is, and just put it into the Ziploc bag. For this meal, we are going to have it with water, our turkey wrap, chips, raisins, and for a treat, M&Ms. We're going to make grilled ham and cheese. And I'm just gonna build it right here on the griddle. And really, you could do this in a frying pan. It's just easier to show it this way. But in general, I would normally have done this on, like, in a fry pan. Okay, I kind of like a big, not super thick, but a fairly good layer of butter. So onto that. This is not hot yet. That's important. But then we are going to put a slice of cheddar cheese, and we're going to do 2 slices of ham. This is very thinly cut. So I'll lay that on there. I like to just cover different spots. That way every bite gets a little bit of something. And then second layer of cheese. Now, if you don't like a lot of cheese, I would just do 1 layer of cheese. Me personally, I don't love a lot of layers of cheese, but my kids do, so I'm gonna put a second one on there, but I don't always do that. It will help it stick to the top one, but that's normally not an issue. So just make sure that this is the same layout as the bottom one. Okay, and again, just a good layer of butter. It helps to keep it moist. It just feels nice to eat it that way. We are going to turn this on, and you don't want to have it too high because it will burn before the cheese is melted. So normally if I have it in a fry pan, I put a lid on it just to help it heat quicker without burning. Okay, let's take a peek at this. And the first side is slow. You don't want to have it turned up too high, it will easily burn. Okay, this is definitely ready to flip, and then this could make a mess. Let's just give it a whirl. I'm gonna just go super quick. There we go. And this side, the second side, goes a lot faster, so be prepared. Maybe even turn down the burner just a little bit, because it goes a lot quicker. It's a lot darker, so just keep an eye on that. So to check on it, you just want to lift it up a little bit. See how it's going under there? This still needs some more time. Sometimes I like to smash things down. It just helps to squish that cheese into the bread. It also makes it easier to fit in the sandwich baggie. Okay, so what we want to do is we're gonna let this completely cool before we put it in a baggie, or else we'll have a big soggy mess. This is great to make the night before, or on a day where you're making one meal, make this lunch along with the lunch for that day, and then have this the next day. You're going to want to let it cool on something that both sides have air. That way you don't make one soggy side. So we're gonna let that cool, and then we will cut it and put it in the bag. Once your sandwich is all cooled, put it on a cutting board. Now I like to cut it in half. Really, you don't have to. And if you have smaller children and you have all this other food in their lunchbox, maybe you just want to give them a half. It really just depends on what your kids normally eat. Now, make sure that that is nice and cooled, because you put it in here and it's just a little warm, it will get sweaty and then not crisp anymore. For this, I'm gonna have milk, sandwich. We're going to have Cheez-Its, some string cheese, a little Kit Kat, and diced peaches. And make sure you have a spoon for this. Wrap that up. And then you are all set with another lunch for the kids. and substitute anything that your kids like. If they don't want any meat on their sandwich, keep that off. If they want less cheese, make it to something that you know that your kids will eat. And try to introduce them to more things at home. That way you know when you send them to school with it that they will eat it.